besides for Akiva. Besides for Akiva's Shaila. But okay, I hope I'll remember them as we learn them. Maybe between today's daf and tomorrow's daf. Okay, so let's see. Zok the Mishnah, yeah? On top of Kuf Yud Ches Amud Aleph. Second line down. Yeah. So Hagoizel. Oh, another one just came in just now. A text. I just noticed it. A guy wants to know if he has temporary plates on his car. Can he go through the Easy Pass without putting up his Easy Pass? Meaning because temporary plates, they may not be able to chase him down.
I think it'll still get to him.
I know, but he wants to risk it.
So if they can't chase him down, so therefore he doesn't have to pay the toll. He has still have to pay the toll. He just might not get caught.
Exactly.
Still has to pay the toll.
Who's chasser because of it?
Me and you.
I am. You. I'm a citizen of this city and I pay the tolls. Yeah.
I understand, but they're never lowering that toll again, and they're not saying now that we have this money, we're going to lower it or we're going to wait another week to raise the rate.
It's true, but still, it's not. It's something that you have to pay in order to cross a bridge. You got to pay, like it or not. I don't know. When I had my temporary plates, I put up the Easy Pass. I put on my Easy Pass. So whatever. But I'm saying that really doesn't have so much to do with tonight's stuff. That's going back a few daf for fooling a guy. But it could be you're right. It's not fooling a guy. It could be it's fooling Yidden, right? A nice percentage of Yidden in New York City. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So Zok the Mishnah. Right? Oh, he stole from his friend, right? Shehilva, and or he borrowed from him. Or he borrowed. Now he was watching for him. So be Yishuv. If it happened in a Yishuv, meaning a Yishuv. It doesn't mean that it had to be like out of the boondocks in Eretz Yisrael. What it means is where there's people. Lo yachzal b'midbar. You cannot give it back to him when you're in a midbar, right? Because since the whole contract happened in a city, so you can't go returning them in the midbar. Now, why would you want to return it to him in the midbar? Because if you return it to him in the midbar, then you have less of a achrayus. Meaning, let's say there's an accident. You borrowed a guy's animal and you're schlepping it back from the midbar, and then the animal falls and dies or something in the midbar. So now you're going to be responsible. But if you give it back to him in the midbar, then you're not going to have that responsibility. But so you can't do that. If you borrowed it on condition that you can give it back to him in the midbar, then you can, which is a pretty obvious, right? The Gemara is going to ask, but that's pashut. I mean, that's the way. If that's the condition that you borrowed it, so then of course you can give it back to him in the midbar. Okay, so Gemara asks,
says the midbar doesn't mean you're going to give it back into the midbar. It means you're going to use it in the midbar. So he knows it's going there already.
It means It means to give it back. It means that you can give it back to him in the midbar. Doesn't mean he has to give it back to the midbar. He can give it back to him. Doesn't mean he has to. All right?
Oh.
Yeah. Well, we'll see in the Gemara. So anyway, the Gemara says, a malva alone could be paid back in anywhere. Avedu bekaden, but a lost object, and a bekaden ein mishtalem ela b'mekoima. You can only give it back in the place that it is. Right? So you see that there is a loan you can pay back wherever you want. All right, so Amar Abaya, says, this is what it means to say. Malva nitna litava b'chol makom. A loan you can go taina on the loan in any place. Meaning, since the lender is the one that did you a favor, so he can tell you where he wants you to pay it back and where he doesn't. Rashi says, Yodei al Yoni, he's the one that did you the favor. Avedu pikadon, but Avedu pikadon, he doesn't have that. You're doing him the favor. Like nitnu litava ela b'mekoimon. He cannot say, "Oh, I want you to give it back to me here, give it back to me there." What do you mean? I'm doing you the favor. I'm watching your item, or I'm returning you the lost item. So he cannot, he can't ask for it wherever he wants. Okay, weiter. On the condition, so he borrowed it on the condition that he's going to go out to the midbar and pay it back in the midbar. Then he can't. So when it says pshita, that's pashut. Like tzricha damarle, because he told him lahavi hai pekadan gabach da'ano lemidbar nafikna. What he said to him is, go this should be a pekadan, meaning you should watch this by you, because I'm going out to the midbar. Meaning you go to your friend and say, I'm going out to the midbar. I'm going camping for a few days. Watch my animal. Right? And Ihu and he, meaning the watchman says, I'm also going out to the midbar. You want me to bring you your animal to the midbar? Then I can bring it to you. Right? So even in that situation where it's not a t'nai, so we understand that when the watchman says to him, I'm also going out to the midbar, I can bring it to you, then we look at that it's if he is agreeing to that, and therefore he would be allowed to bring it. He would be allowed to bring it back in the midbar. Okay, so that's first.
Why is that true? It shouldn't be like it's not Tanai Kafel. It's not a real Tanai.
No,
Meaning it's just
it's not a he's like letting him know. By the way, I'm coming. That statement is basically letting the guy know that I am going to bring it back to the and I'll give it back. I have the option to give it back to you in the midbar.
So right? Milsa, yeah.
Yeah. So Zak Mishnah. Next Mishnah. I stole from you. Halvisani, you lent me money. You gave me something to watch. He says, but I don't know if I gave it back to you or not. This is a common question. People forget if they pay back a loan. That's why everything is supposed to be written down. So again, the guy says, I stole from you, I borrowed from you, I was watching something of yours, and I don't know if I gave it back. So chayiv l'shalem, he's chayiv to pay. Because he admitted. But if he says to him, I don't know if I stole from you, I don't know if you lent me, and I don't know if I was supposed to watch something for you, then potter milashalem, he is potter milashalem. Because it's a suffix. It would have to be on Moitzi Mechaber Elvarah. If you want to collect payments, so then the guy would have to bring a proof. So the Gemara says, Itmar Monadi biyotcha.
Wait a minute, if the suffix the Raisa, you don't go to Chumrah?
I don't think it's a suffix daraisa. I think it's just a plain
suffix. The suffix of the Gezalti is not daraisa?
Not because
it's
where's
no. Go ahead.
I'm saying, what's the doraisa that I stole from you?
Yeah.
So that one case you're saying is maybe a doraisa? Not if I borrowed from you, not if I lent you money.
No, I didn't say. Wait a minute. If you borrowed, now I'm talking about Gazel.
I don't think. Again, I'm not a big man in Dine Sveka and Svekas and all that, right? But I don't think that's your classic suffix, right? He brought up, as we'll see in the Gemara. Really, he brought up the whole thing.
Okay, so he was moided that he's possible that he's so.
Doesn't know. He just doesn't know. So there could be the whole thing is just a farce, right?
So if a guy, if I was a small kid in yeshiva, and I think after my bar mitzvah, it's possible I took something from the yeshiva that really didn't belong to me, right? I took a paper, a pencil, or whatever. I took a book, right? And it's a suffix, right? I'm not sure if I did, right? So it's a deraisa.
Because Torah to me, I should have given your father back his tuition. Don't have to come. You stole the pencil from them. Big deal. From those.
I'm not okay.
From those chayas. Big deal.
Okay, I'm talking about if somebody has a job and he does something in the job.
No, because it's a suffix.
You said if you were a little kid. Were you a little kid when you were a kid?
I was going to say that. I'm not makabel.
Paris, it's a good thing we're a little bit further away from each other.
Baron,
No, I'm serious. It's a suffix.
I was gonna say, Baron clearly didn't do his research like they do today, Shidduchim.
Kaplan, behave yourself.
I couldn't resist. I mean, sorry.
Anyway,
No, I'm asking a suffix
yes,
deraisa.
it's a suffix deraisa of him to take it also. Let's say it is a suffix, which I'm not sure it is. It's a suffix for the guy to take it too. He could be, if he takes the money on suffix, he's a suffix Goslin himself. Ganav.
No, but the guy was moided that he's
Wasn't
possible.
Says he doesn't know.
Okay, but he said something, right?
No. So if the other guy says he knows, then it's a different story. That's gonna.
No, but the guy says it's possible I stole from you. Nobody told him to say that. He was moided in some fashion.
He was learning Shari Tshuva and Achasadim, so he felt all gassed up. So the two of them just should have gone out for a drink together, and that's it. No, they made a whole to do. They had to write a Gemara about these two idiots. Go out for dinner together and forget about it.
I don't know. The two idiots are Tanayim. I don't know.
On Gazela, that my only shot was on Gazela.
Yeah, but it's gonna be it's Gazela for the recipient to take it also.
No, what do you mean? If the guy, it's Gazela. If the other side, what?
You cannot take money if you're not 100% sure that you're.
Why not? If I come over to you and say I might have taken money from you, so you say, okay, let's make it. I'll make it tonight. I'll give you the money, and if I did steal from you, so I paid you back, and if I didn't steal from you, so it's a matana.
Fine, that's true. You could do that, but here you can't. You can't demand the money back. You can't just.
You're not demanding. I'm admitting that it's possible I stole from you.
Okay, and you can't take it unless you know definitively.
Why can't you take it, David?
Because it might be a crook if he did.
It's not crooked. If it's yours, it's a matana.
We're both agreeing to it. We're both agreeing to it.
You're not. No, you're not both. If you both agree to it, David, you can do whatever you want.
Right, that's what I said to do.
But Deborah Baron, you didn't say who's paying the bill for the dinner.
Zev, is this how you collect a lot of your?
No, they're going to split it.
A lot of the owed amounts.
Oh, they're going to split the bill.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't see how the guy could take the money. The guy's not allowed to take the money unless he's Bade knows that it's coming to him.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Let's see the Gemara. Let's see the Gemara is going to discuss it a little bit. So it says, he says to him, I have 100. 100 of mine is in your hand. And he's telling him, I want you to pay me back $100. He says, I don't know. So Rav Huna, Rav Yehuda, Amri Chayev, Rav Nachum, Rav Yochanan, Amri Potter. So Machlokes. Rav Huna, Rav Yehuda, Amri Chayev, Bari B'Sheva, Bari Od. If you have somebody who's definite and somebody who is not definite, the definite wins. Right? That's pretty straightforward. Yitzchak Amri, no, Potter, Ugi Mamayna B'Cheskas Mari. The money stays in the place where the chazaka was, where it was, right? And since the chazaka is by the guy that is supposed to make the payment, even though he's a shema and the other guy is a vadai, he doesn't pay it, right? Now the question is, they have to make a shvua, whatever. That's all the sugyas in Bava Metzia touches on it, but that's the machlokes. So Tanan. Our Mishnah says, I don't know if you lend me money, you're potter. What's the case? If you'd say that it's talking about where the guy wasn't even asking him for money, right? Meaning like Zev's case, he's saying he just walked over to the guy and said, by the way, I don't know. So then Reisha Nami if that's the case, then in the Reisha, he also wasn't asking him for money. So then am I chayiv? Why is he chayiv? Meaning, if you're saying that the Mishnah is talking about where the guy, the owner, didn't ask for any money from the guy just walked over him into the street, right? So then, why should you be chayiv? If he's not asking him for money, why should he be chayiv? Because if he didn't ask him for it, then he also doesn't know, right? If the lender, the potential lender or the potential guy that the money was stolen from, is not sure, so then. And we assume he's not sure because he would have asked for it, right? So then, or he would have said, "Oh yeah, Taka, you do owe me money." So Ella must be the Ketavale, must be the Mishnah Soma where the guy asked him for money and said, "You owe me money." And in the Reisha, the guy said, "I did, but I don't remember if I paid you back." And the Sefer says he doesn't even remember at all. The Gatani Sefer Pater Milashalim. and the Sefer says Patim L'Shalom. So the Sefer has to be a Bari and a Shema, right? So Gemara saying you see that and it says Patim, so that's a kasha on Rav Huna and Rav Yehuda who say Chayiv. So they say Loi Loilam de Loi Katavalei. It's talking about where he was not Teveya him. Veresha, Bavalot is Yidei Shemayim. The Resha is because he's a Fruma, right? He wants to be Yidei Shemayim. So, meaning even though nobody asked him to pay anything, but since he thinks he did, then he has to pay.
Isn't Lashon Chayiv a shtickle schwer in this case?
I mean, if you're saying Lotzi de Shemayim to say that he's Chayiv,
Yeah, I'm saying.
I hear that. I hear. I guess based on his words, he's Chayiv. We're not going to make him.
He's bringing the Chiyav on himself.
Right.
So that doesn't mean that it's Chayiv. The Gemara usually doesn't use Lashon Chayiv like that. It would say he's potter, but if he wants, he could do it. The Chayiv means he's mechayiv himself. Maybe I don't know. Maybe
that's why I understand.
What is the main besides my Russia? What does that mean?
The person cannot make himself into a Russia.
Yeah. So what did this guy do?
What did he do?
He said he's a Goslin.
Right, but now I guess he's doing tshuva now.
I don't know. So how does he do it?
Rav Aaron, that's the Gemara in Ksubis. It's a Palgidin Dibura. We split his words. Even though you can't actually make yourself a Rasha, to be mechayiv yourself, you can be mechayiv yourself mammon without making yourself a Rasha.
Oh, what do they call that? Without admitting any. They paid a fine without admitting any
guilt. But over there, you could literally say two agencies about yourself. One's mechayiv you mammon, and the other one does not make you a Rasha.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
How does that work? I don't know. I don't know how that works, but that's what the Gemara says.
That's like no contest in court.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, I'll pay the money, but without admitting guilt or whatever it's called. There's a phrase for it.
Admitting guilt. Yeah.
What do we say? How does the Gemara about Baruch Shema square with Hamaitz Mechavel Varaya?
I don't know. I was wondering that.
I remember. I remember we discussed this once, but like, how does our Gemara? How does it work according to Rav Yehuda and Rav Yehuda? You can be Mighty Mama without Adam?
Right. I'm not sure. Right. You can't. I mean, and well, you would need. I think at least a shua. No.
Well, shua. I don't think that's not a shua as a nightland. No. The other shua. The shua would be the other way for shua's hesses. To say that you're not chayiv, that you're not sure if you're chayiv or not, you'd have to be a shua's hesses. But to be mighty mammon, the shua doesn't work to normally be mighty mammon in a normal case.
Right. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure how it works in Mitzvah Gemara. I initially when I learned the Gemara, I thought it was the Mishnah was out to my Mitzvah Gemara.
Right, but that's clearly according to Rav Huna, that wouldn't work.
Right.
The Bari V'Shema is halfway. I mean, everyone's masking that if he's Maida, he would have to pay. And everyone agrees the Bari of Bari, the question is where it's halfway. Is it closer to Maida or is it closer to Bari?
Right, but it's not Haidah. Nobody thinks the Shema is a Haidah. An actual Haidah.
It's a half a Haidah.
Right. Okay.
It is.
Well, let's see.
It's a taina. It's not an actual chiyuv.
Is it enough to be mechayiv him and Asham?
No way. No.
Sure.
Why should we have an Asham?
For what?
On the gazelle.
He didn't deny it. I don't think he denied it. Did he deny it?
An asham is with a shvua of denial. There's no shvua here.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see back. Does it manami? Amr of Kia bar Abba, Amr of Yachin, and I'm the Chaber Manali biyot Chabalah and any Yedea Chayev. But Baal lots is Yedei Shemayim, and it's all about where he wanted to be Yotzis Yedei Shemayim. Like Rabbanan said, he learned Shari Tshuva or Tzadikim, decided that he's going to be a good Samaritan. He's going to say that he owed money. Okay, Zok the Mishnah. Hagoynev tleh min ha'eder. So if somebody steals a tleh from a flock, is that the way to touch eder? Flock? Yeah, okay. Hagoynev tleh min ha'eder.
Yes.
Yeah, there's zero. So basically, this is talking about where you stole somebody's car. That's just an example, and returned it without letting the guy ever know that you returned it or not. Right? And then it got stolen. Right? Or it got smashed. So I'm going to lemonade. You stole a lamb from the Eda Bechzir, and then you put it back, and then Mesa Nignav, and then it died or it got stolen. Why? Because once you steal it, it's in your reshus, and when you returned it, it's not considered returning because the owner never knew that you returned it.
And the person who stole it or damaged it is putter.
The person who stole, why? He's chayav.
Meaning I returned it and I didn't tell the owner. Now afterwards, somebody else killed it or stole it.
No, but it's your responsibility.
So the other guy who actually did the damage, the other guy who killed it or stole it, he's putter.
You could take it up with him, but you're the one that's responsible. Right? You're the one that's responsible. Yeah. Yeah, because it's your achrayas, because you never let the guy know. So the first case is talking about where the guy knew something was stolen from him, and you didn't, and he never knew that you returned it. The second case is he never knew about anything. So he didn't know that you even took it, or that you even gave it back. And then he counted his sheep. He couldn't sleep, so he counted his sheep. And it all added up. Then he is potter. Right now, the Gemara is going to have 4 pshatim on this Mishnah, exactly what the case is. But let's just get it clear, because the Gemara, it's not confusing. It's just four variables of how to learn our Mishnah. So in the first case, in the Mishnah, he knew that he stole. The guy knew that something was stolen from him. He never knew that it was returned. In the Seifa, therefore the guy is chayiv to pay. The Ganav is chayiv to pay, because it was chayiv and achrayas of it. If the guy never knew it was stolen and he never knew it was returned, but in the morning or whatever he counted his sheep and everything was there, then it's potter, because that's as if he knew that it was returned. Right? By him counting, it's as if he knew it was returned. Now the Gemara is going to have 4 shittas in this. It's ugly. Gemara.
Yaakov, I'm sorry. I just remembered this. I didn't think about it this morning. I had once in the sands with the valet guys. They took my car, and they filled it up, and they took my car. It was a notice from one of the credit card companies, something or other. And I figured out, a detective called me from Nassau County. And we figured out, and they found out that they did it to a bunch of cars. They used to do it during the affairs, different stuff.
For joyride?
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah.
I hear. You must drive a fancy car.
I was going to say, Ramona, what do you expect when you pull up in a Ferrari?
Yeah. I thought it was an off color. It was a gray, I didn't think they would do anything.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly the case that we're talking about here. So Amar Rav, so now there's 4 pshatim here. Ladas, if he took it with the das, with the knowledge, meaning the guy knew it was stolen from him, so tzarech das. If he took it with das, if it was stolen with das, then he needs das to go back to. Shaloi ladas. If it was taken without the guy's knowledge,
I know what to do.
Then minyan potter. Then the counting is going to make him potter. Meaning, as long as he didn't know it was stolen, but when it comes time to do roll call on his flock and it's there, he's going to be potter. Okay. Why
do you even need that?
Because he has to know that it was. He has to know it was given.
But he
back.
never knew it was stolen. So if it's in his, what does it hurt him whether you took it for 5 minutes, you put it back? Like,
stole something from a guy doesn't mean you're not a Ghana.
You are a Ghana, so you put it back in his reshus. What does him counting do for you?
But giving it back into his reshus is now back under his achrayas.
So you already did that. Why does he have to count it? That's almost like a das, no?
to know about the achrayas. In order, it's not considered. It's back in his rishus until he knows.
Oh, meaning he's taking a achrayas when he counts it.
Yeah.
So why doesn't that work for the first case?
Well, I mean, why does he want das and not das?
Meaning, isn't that das if you're taking achrayas? Like, what does it matter?
Because that's you need to have. It has to be a full. It's not considered. You're not coming full circle unless the guy knows about it. Right? Look at the Rashi. Rashi says, "Avagav the manu was hatzayin v'hi shleima adayin chay b'achriyusa the kima the yoda habi like zayla gemura ubeinin hashava mal yusa." Sounds like if he didn't know about it, it's not gezela gemura. If he knew about it, it's gezela gemura. You have to make sure it goes back. Right? Anyway, so that's Shitas Rav again. Is if the guy knew it was stolen, then he has to know it was returned. If he didn't know it was stolen, then counting is enough. Right? And then when the Mishnah, the last line of the Mishnah says, if the owner counts the sheep and it's shalem, then that's going on the sefer. That's going on the last case because it can't go on the first case because the first case is the guy knew it was stolen. If the guy knew it was stolen, then he has to know definitively, not just counting, that it was returned. That's Shitas Rav. Shmuel Amar, Bein Ladas, Bein Shaloi Ladas. This is like you were saying, Akiva, whether it's for das, whether it's not, whether the guy knew about it being stolen, didn't know, minyan potter. As long as he counts it and he knows that he has all his ducks in a row, I guess, all his sheep, right? Then he is potter. And when it says, as long as he counts it and it's full, his flock is full, potter, that's going akula, that's going on the reisha and the sefer. That's shita number 2. Shita number 3. Rav Yochanan Omer, Ladas, if it's stolen with das, minyan potter, then counting is potter. Shaloi ladas, if it's not with das, afilu minyan nami leitzara, even minyan doesn't need it. Right? And again, Caesar Rabbi Yochanan is saying that if he stole it with the knowledge, then minyan patters. But it was shaloi ladas, then even minyan you don't need. Right? You just have to put it back into his flock. And then, so then when do you need to count the tzayin and it's considered shleima? Aresha, that's going on the first case. Rav Chisda is the chiddush. Right? Rav Chisda said like this. Rav Chisda Amar, ladas, if you stole it with the knowledge and the guy knew it was stolen, minyan paiter, then just counting is pater. But if you stole it shaloi ladas, which means the guy never knew it was stolen, tzorach das. You need das. You need to tell him. Meaning he never even knew it was stolen. According to Rav Chisda, you have to knock on the guy's door and tell him, here it is. And then it's considered done. So then, according to him, when is counting the tzayin considered like returning to it? Aresh, it's going on the resh. All right, so those are the 4 sheetas. Amar Rava on Talmud Beis. Or Rabba, right? Some say it's Rabba. My time with the Rav Chisda. Why does Rav Chisda have this din? Now, Rashi says the reason it does. You were asking Rav Chisda. We had 3 sheetas here. We had Rav Huna, Rav, and Shmuel. Why is anyone only asking Rav Chisda? Because Rav Chisda is the biggest chiddush. Rav Chisda seems to be saying it different. He's saying if you stole it without knowledge, then the guy has to get it back with knowledge, right? That's a chiddush. So my answer is hoyo, but then he says a very deep psychological thing in animal watching. Hoyo, the anakta, nigri baryasa. Since he stole it, it tasted some freedom, right? Meaning, since he took it, then it's used to running away. Now it tasted the outside world, and now that it tasted the outside world, there's a much higher risk of this animal escaping. So that's why he has to come tell the guy, by the way, I took your animal for a joyride, and I'm giving it back to you, and be careful with it because since it tasted some freedom, it might just try and escape again, right? So this is animal psychology. Yeah, fine. So then Gemara says, did Rabba agree with Rav Chisda? Meaning the reason, well, I guess it's either Rav or Rabba. Did he agree with this? If a guy saw his friend, I don't know what kind of friend it is, but he picked up a sheep,
Well, they always will call Chavera. I always had that question all the time. Like, guy guzzled, he came with a machine gun into his friend's grocery.
Right, but I guess, yeah, I don't know. Right? I hope it's better and more. I mean, chaver, to make yourself a chaver is a little stronger chaver than this, right? So anyway, so he says he sees his friend come into his flock and pick up his sheep. Barama Bekola, and he calls out, meaning he yells at him, the shadya, and then he throws down the sheep. But he has no idea if he gave it back or not, meaning he doesn't know if it came back into the flock. And then it got stolen or died. So the crook is chayav in achrayas, my love, afagav the money. Is it not? He's chayav even though he counted, right? So Mamela, you counted, and then he knew that it was returned, right? So it's a kasha. How can you say it? Like Rav Chisda? You go with Rav Chisda, but if you have to actually know bevada, it's not just counting. So our answer is loy the loymon. You told me where he didn't count, so that's why he's chayav. But had he counted, then no, that's not the kasha. No, Rav Chisda. No, he knew it was stolen, right? So I'm sorry. He knew it was going in Rav Chisda. So Rav Chisda says if he knows it's stolen, so then counting works. And here Rav is saying that it doesn't work. So assuming that he counted, so it should have worked. So we say like the money where it didn't count. So we're asking, did Rav really say this? He says if you put it back into the flock that's in the midbar, you are yotza. Right now, if it was given back to the flock in the midbar, the owner who was not, the assumption is the owner is not in the midbar, so he didn't know about it. So why is that considered returning the stolen items? Rav is maida where it's a weird looking lamb, right? If it has markings on it, right? Like Yaakov Avinu's. So it had whatever spots, this, that. So it was clearly there. So therefore, then he'll know that it was returned. Right. So then, in that case, you don't need to know about it, and you don't need to even count it because it should be clearly visible. The Gemara says Lema Katanai. So now let's say, so we had 4 Tanaim. We had Rav, Shmuel, Rav Huna, Rav Chisda, all explaining our Mishnah in different ways. If he knew about it, didn't know about it, counting, not counting. So let's say, so they're all on Merayim. So let's say it's a machlokes Tanaim. Hagoynev tzlem in if somebody steals a lamb from a flock, the selam in a kiss, and he steals a sela from a wallet. Right? Oh, so I'm sorry, I should have brought this up before. Remember, what we're explaining Rav Chisda's din. So he said psychologically, the reason why you have to let the owner know when you steal his animal because once it had some freedom, so it might run away. So then what's Rav Chisda going to say on an inanimate object? Like money. You don't have that svara. So if you steal somebody's money, let's say in Besmedrish, right, you take somebody's sefer, of whether you're allowed to, you're not allowed, not the point. Let's say you're not allowed. It says Asr B'li Rishus, even though it says Lashem Aretz Malay, right? So it says Asr B'li Rishus, and you took it, right? And now you give it back. So the L'chayra of Chisda Svara doesn't apply. The sefer didn't taste freedom, and now it's gonna maybe escape again, right? If it is, you're drinking a little too much.
Maybe it's finally being used by somebody who has some brains.
maybe. But it felt that, so it's gonna try and get itself. Yeah. So that's unclear exactly what we're to hold in that case. So now he would say, I'm going to lamb in Aida. Somebody who steals a lamb from an Aida, to sell him in a kiss or money of coin from a wallet. The Malkam Shagon of Yachzer, he has to give it back and he has to put it back where he stole it from. Divi Rabbi Shmuel, that's Shitas Rabbi Shmuel. Das Bailim. Right? He has to tell the das. He has to tell the Bailim. Meaning the first case, according to Rabbi Shmuel, he doesn't have to let him know, just put it back where it belongs. Rabbi Kiva says, no, you need das bailam, savrua. So we're thinking the Kuli Alma is to the Rabbi Yitzchak. Everybody holds the Rabbi Yitzchak's din, which will come up in a couple of weeks. That a person constantly is checking his wallet to make sure that he doesn't lose his money, which is sort of like the equivalent of checking your stocks at all times on your phone, right? Chazar Sashat, waiting for Chazar Sashat, before, after, right? It's the same type thing, checking your money. My love, the seller ladas, and must be talking about that the seller was taken with the das, meaning the guy saw and he knew. Who plugged the Rav Shmuel, and they're having a machlokes in the same machlokes of Rav and Shmuel, right? Which is, is counting enough, or betleh shaloi das, or it could be talking about a lamb that was taken without das, who plugged the Rav Chisda Rav Yochanan, and we saw Rav Akiva having the same machlokes as Rav Chisda and Rav Yochanan. Right, so which is a very interesting way of fitting in a machlokes tanoi. This is not your standard. Not your standard. We're saying because we have 4 different amiroim. So we're saying if you learn the machlokes is going on a coin, so then it's machlokes Rav and Shmuel. And if you learn the machlokes is going on an animal, so then the machlokes is Rav Chisda and Rav Yochanan. Right? Okay, but that's what we're saying. That's a machlokes tanoi. So Rav Zvid Mishmei the Rava the shomer shagonim reshus bailam. We're talking about a shomer who stole it from the Rishus of the Bailam, meaning he had permission to take this thing, and then he stole it from the owner of the Bailam. So everybody, there's no disagreement that you go with Rav Chisda, that you need to let him know. We're talking about a shomer who stole it. That he should give it back, and whether he has to put it back, the Bava changes that he has to give it back to the place that it was stolen from. Once the shomer stole it, he's no longer a shomer, and therefore you can't just tell the shomer. Meaning, what happened was the shomer took it, and then somebody came and stole it from the shomer. So the question is, does the shomer represent the owner or not? So Rabbi Kiva is saying that once he steals it and uses it for himself, he is no longer considered like the arm of the owner, right? So therefore, when it goes back to where it was stolen from, it still was not given to him. The Rishon Savar loikos shmira, so his shmira is not done, right? So as long as the shomer knows that the thing was given back, so then that's enough. Okay, so then the Gemara says, Lema minyan Paiter Tanai. Let's say this whole concept of as long as he counts his animals and he sees that his animals are there. So let's say it's machlokes Tanaim the Tanya Hagoyzos Chaver B'cheshbon. If a guy steals from his friend, and then instead of paying him back the ferish, what he does, he says, I'm going to give you a little extra, and in that extra, right? Meaning he stole from somebody who he owes money anyways. So in that little extra, he gives it. He includes it, right? Right. So Rashi says he was embarrassed to say that he stole. So this is an easy way of giving him back the stolen money. So Tani Chada Yotze, but Tani Yidach La Yotze. One says you Yotze, one says you're not Yotze. Savru the Kuli Hama is the Rav Yitzchak. Everybody holds the Rav Yitzchak Damar Adam Asil Mashish V'Kisa.
And the guy knows why he's giving him extra.
It seemed he may know, but I don't know. I don't know if he's making like he doesn't know. Or it's I don't think it makes a difference. Either way, the guy's giving him back.
Okay.
He's giving money, it's without his knowledge, right? So Savru the Kuliyama is the Rav Yitzchak. He thinks that everybody, and we were thinking now everybody holds the Rav Yitzchak Damar Adam Asil Mashish V'Kisa B'Chol Shavashah, that a person feels his wallet at every hour. My lab this is what the machlokes says. Mandamar Yotza Sava Minyan Paita. The mandamar that says Yotza holds that the minyan just counting it is going to pater. So since he's constantly checking his wallet, so he's gonna count it. Mandamar Lo Yotza, and the one that says Lo Yotza Sava Minyan ain't a pater. He holds that even if he's going to count it in his wallet, it's not going to be pater. So that must be the machlokes. So when it says Amri, can't be. Or it shouldn't be. They said Isvi along for Rav Yitzchak, because if you hold like Rav Yitzchak, then Kuli Amalei Pligi the minyan Pater. If you hold like Rav Yitzchak, then everybody's going to hold that counting is Pater. Hella but the Rav Yitzchak Amilgia. Their machlokes is whether we hold of Rav Yitzchak. Mar Islay the Rav Yitzchak. One holds like Rav Yitzchak that he counted it, and therefore it's considered that he knew about it. The owner knew about it. Mar Lesley the Rav Yitzchak. Another one holds not like Rav Yitzchak, and the guy is not constantly counting his money. That's one way of looking at the machlokes. Everybody holds like Rav Yitzchak. Like Kasha had the money v'ramale bekise. One is someone where he counted it, and then he put it into the wallet, right? And he put it into the owner's wallet. Had the money v'ramale yadin. One is someone where he counted it and it put it into his hand. He didn't put it into his wallet, right? Meaning, if he put it into his hand, then he's not going to count it. He just takes it in his hand, and when he gets home, he puts it into his safe or into his whatever he keeps his money. But if he counted it out and he gave it to him and he put it into his wallet, so then the man is going to count what's in his wallet. The money they're both talking about where he counted it and he put it into his wallet. One is somewhere where he had other money in the wallet, right? So Mamela, he has no idea how much he ends up with and whether the guy gave him back the money that he stole or not. And there's no about where he did not have any more money in his, he didn't have any money in his wallet. So therefore, later on, when he counts his wallet, he'll know exactly how much was paid back. Okay, fine. Next Mishnah. Ain't like him in Arayim. You're not allowed to buy from shepherds semer, from the wool, cholav, milk, gediyim, or goats. Right? You're not allowed to take it from them because they're not authorized, and we're afraid that they stole them. Yeah. And you're not allowed to take from people that are watching fields. You're not allowed to take fruit. Wood or fruit.
Gedim here doesn't this mean smaller animals? Whereas a goat, you say Gediizim. It doesn't mean that it would be any small sheep or a goat, no?
You're talking about that they're just small as opposed to
big?
Yeah.
Yeah, just it's the washing from Los Vashel Gedib Chalavimo is not as loved after a goat. It's any small animal. That's how we learn Gedim there. So
you're right. Right. So again, you can't take these things from shepherds, and you can't take wood and fruit from people that are watching the field. In Yehuda, you're allowed to take wool clothing from women. And in Gol, you're allowed to take linen. Ba'agolim b'Sharon, and agolim in Sharon, meaning
what does this mean?
Why what?
What does it mean?
Meaning the question is, do we trust that these women are taking their husband's items without permission and selling it? Right?
Okay.
So if it's something that's not normal to be dealt with in that community, then you can't trust the woman. So you shouldn't take it from them. But if it is something that's in that community that's normal, then you can trust them. I know it sounds a little foreign, but the bottom line is everything belongs to the husband. And if any of these cases they say
they didn't sit and cuddle those husbands.
Sounds like not, but
okay.
didn't sound like too many people did, right? And anybody who they say, if any of these cases they say, I'm selling it to you, but keep it on down. How do you call it? Keep it on the down low, right? Then meaning lahatman from the word hatmana, to hide it. Usr, then it's usr. You're not allowed to take it from them because why are they hiding it? What's there to be hidden? Elamai, they're selling something that they're not authorized to sell. But like in Beitzim, the Tarnagoyim, the Kol Makam, and eggs and Tarnagoyim, you're allowed to buy from anywhere because those are not expensive, so it's no big deal, right? So here, so today's Shiloh was, I hate to bring it up, but somebody was in Gourmet Glatt. Either it's Yamach Shemam or whatever, whichever you want to call them, right? And you have to buy the shopping bags for a quarter, right? You have to buy the shopping bags for a quarter. So the cashier said, it's on her. It's on her. You could take the bags. So no, she could take it or not.
It depends. You don't know. She has a reshus from the management to do that to certain customers.
Right. So is she entitled to say that? The same. It's a very similar child to this.
Wouldn't she be afraid she's going to lose her job if she does it?
Wouldn't she?
Because what is she doing giving out stuff? I mean,
Well, she doesn't think Mustama that someone's going to go to management and say, your checkout lady gave me 25 cents.
Jacob, why is that different than the lady at the bakery that gives the kids a cookie?
I think that they're authorized to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I hope so.
It's direct Irish they're doing it. What do you mean?
Yeah.
They're not afraid she'll go to the management, but she'll go to Tzvi Yaakov.
Why not? They could just text me. And you know what I'll tell them? Drop the bags off by me. Anyway, but I'm saying the end of the mission is you can buy eggs and tarnagal from anybody, right? And what's a
Jacob, not to mess with the post, but you could say that the bags are free and bingo.
Well, that's a shiloh. Can you post that? Right?
That's why I said it.
Yeah.
I got 2 nice boxes today.
But you paid for them.
No.
They don't charge for them?
No.
No, the boxes they charge 45 cents a bar.
He didn't charge me.
Well,
You have to
there you go, Rivard.
Rivard,
there's the Shiloh right there. It
You
doesn't have to be
know
going
what happened? I'll tell you what happened. Maybe I took home the money. So the guy showed me how to use the gun to put everything. So I said, "Can I have boxes?" So he gave me 2 boxes, but maybe he thought they'll only use that for people who are using the gun. I ended up not using because I made a few mistakes I saw. So I went to regular register. I had already the boxes in my card.
Rivard, you don't have to say the one using the gun. You can say the ones over 65.
Enzyme.
Yeah. So.
No, the one's over 75. No.
Parrots, I'm going to stick up for COVID. You have no right to say that.
What do you mean? Parrots was saying COVID.
It was a compliment. Zev, it was a compliment.
I'm not sure you were complimenting.
I don't know. Rabbi Zev says you look 95.
But anyway, I don't know. So the same thing is the guy authorized. He gives you 3 boxes. Is he authorized? Not authorized. So I'm saying from the last line in the Mishnah, why is it eggs and tarnagolim? Meaning Mastama, exactly what you're saying, Zev. Mastama, she's authorized to do it. Why would she risk her job by giving you 25 cents for the bags? Meaning there's not enough to gain to be losing, right? There's not enough to gain to sell an egg or a tarnagol. There's not enough there that the person would risk losing their job or their marriage, I guess, based on this Mishnah, on doing that. Right? Yeah. Okay. So a similar question somebody asked today, that he works for one of the children's homes, those Hamish children's homes. And I don't know exactly what this means, but the supervisor said that the person could use sick days as vacation days. Are they allowed to do that? The supervisor said they can use sick days as vacation days. I don't know what the chiluk is. I mean, I know what the chiluk is, but I'm saying
no. You get a certain amount of sick days, a certain amount of vacation, but you could use
it up.
You could use it up, yeah.
So does that person?
Well, it depends, Yaakov. A lot of places you get paid out your sick time at the end of the year, so they don't really like you to, or vice versa. Some of them it's use it or lose it.
So I asked if the guy's authorized to do such a thing. So if he's authorized, he's authorized. It's his call, right? You're muted, David. You're muted if you're talking to us. Yeah, no, I don't know. Okay, so I don't. Okay, again, it's based on authorization. It's the same thing. In all these cases, are you authorized to sell it or not? Okay, so Tarabanan ain't like him in Arayim. You can't take from shepherds like Izim, but like Gediyim, not goats and not Gediyim. That sounds like you, Rachamim. It's mashma like you, right? That because there's a difference between it. But like Gizin and not wool that came off the sheep, but like Tlushin, and that was ripped off the sheep, but like Klushin Shel Tzemer, and not anything that was the wool that was ripped off. But you could take from them clothing that was sewn, right? Because even if they stole it, Rashi says it's a shiner. They would have been kind of with a shiner. Because it's theirs, right? Meaning because they were kind of with the shiner. You're allowed to buy milk and cheese from them in the midbar, but not in town, right? Meaning why? Because when they're out in the boondocks, right? So the bosses are not coming to collect the milk anyway. So they're allowed. They're sort of like they're mafkir to them. But like man, Dalid v'heit sign, you're allowed to buy 4 or 5 sheep from them. Dalid v'heit gizin, 4 or 5 shearings, right? Have a loy state sign, but loy state gizin. You're not allowed to buy 2 sheep or 2 shearings, right? If you don't have biases like man, you're allowed to buy domesticated sheep from them. Midbarius ain't like man, but you're not allowed to buy wild sheep from them. What's the rule? Anything that the raya sells and the balabayas will feel it, meaning he'll know about it, like him when you're allowed to buy from them because they're not going to risk their jobs. Ain't margish boy, if they're not going to know about it, then ain't like him, and then you can't buy from them. So same thing with stuff that falls off a truck, right? If the guy's going to chop, so then you're allowed to buy from them because we're assuming the person's not going to risk. Person's not going to risk his job. The guy knowing about it. So Amar like him and Dalad v'heit sign, Dalad v'heit gizim. You're allowed to buy 4 and 5. Hashta yeshlemer arbas of ninon. So if you're allowed to buy 4, hamisha mibai. Do you need to say that you're going to buy 5? Amar Chista arba mitoy chamisha. It means 4 from 5. Meaning, if the whole flock is 5, you're allowed to buy 4. Because who would have the chutzpah to sell 4 out of the 5 sheep that he's supposed to watch, and then he comes back, the guy says, "Oh, 4 of your sheep ran away." I mean, that's not going to bode well for him. So we'd assume that that's okay.
Is that bedavka or it's a ratio, meaning like 80%?
Oh, so we're going to see in the next Gemara. So Amri, Amar Rav Chisda, Arba me'eder katan, right? 4 from 5. And the Chamesh me'eder gadol, and 5 from a large. I think that's what you're saying, Akiva, right? Meaning it depends on how.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
What do you mean? It's 4 from a small. And
well,
5
what's a small?
I don't know. It doesn't define that.
Right. So I was saying that in the first sheet, is it saying that any 4 out of 5 amount you could buy, meaning 80%, or is it saying 4 out of 5 where it's very, very nicker because you only have 1 left? Meaning, let's say I sold, or it's just a ratio of 80%. That would be nicker. Let's say you have thousands of sheep and you sell 80%. Is that still good? It's less nicker than 4 out of 5 where you left with 1. I understand it's thousands. You sold probably thousands as well, but it's not. Is it a ratio or it's bedafka? That's what I'm asking.
I don't know. I hear.
Is it limited to a case where the guy only had 5 sheep?
Yeah. I don't know. I hear. I thought maybe that would answer it. Anyways, okay. So then the Gemara says, "Hogupa kasha though." Amr dalid v'hei sign, dalid v'hei gizin, dalid v'hei in. So it sounds like 4 or 5, yes. Aval shalish loy, but you can't sell 3. But then ema seifa aval loy state sign, but you can't buy 2 sheep. Hashalish zavmina, but you're allowed to buy 3. So which one is it? Meaning the first one says 4 or 5, mashma 3, no. And then the seifa says you could buy 2, mashma 3, yes. I'm sorry, you can't buy 2, mashma 3, you can. So like kasha haba baryosa and haba bikchishasa. One is talking about healthy sheep, right? And one is talking about decayed sheep, right? meaning healthy sheep, the guy's keeping his eyes on, right? So therefore, 3 is already too much, and he'll chop, right? But shvacha sheep, the ones that are chisha, right? He's not constantly checking on them, right? So then so 3 he's not going to chop. So therefore, you're not allowed to do it. Meaning again, the same rule is the more that the owner is going to chop, the worse the more you could sell, right? Fine. Rabbi Yehuda biases like him, midbarius ain't like him. So the ones that are domesticated you can buy from the shepherds, but the midbarius you can't. Right? So you buy who's the Adashal Yehuda Reisha Koi Ulachumra, is he going on the Reisha and he's being Machmar, I don't want to say Koi Ulakula, or he's going on the safe and it's going Lakula. So Reisha Koi Ulachumra, and he's going Lachumra Daman like him, and Arba Vachamisha Tzan, you take from them 4 or 5 sheep. Hani Mili Bisis, that's only Bisis. Aval Midbarias, Afilu Arba Vachamisha Loy. But Midbarias, even 4 or 5, not. Idoma a sefer kai ulakula, or he's going on the sefer lakula. The amar avaloi shteit zayin v'loi shteit gizin. You can't buy 2 sheep. Hani mili midvarius, but that's only midvarius. Aval baisa shtayim nami like, but baisas you could also take 2. So we don't know which way Rav Yehuda is going. So Tashma the Tan Rav Yehuda I'm like him baisas man. You could take baisas. Rav ain't like him and midvarius, and you can't buy midvarius. Ubechol makim like him and arba v'chamisha tzayin. And you can every place you can take 4 or 5 sign. So mida amar b'chol makam, it says in every place. Shema mina asefa kai kula. He's going on the sefer, and he's saying it as a kula that you can only buy 2 when they're domesticated. But if they're in the midbarius, then it's then you can buy more. Shema mina. So that's what it is. Okay, tomorrow's daf is very long, so I'm just going to do a little bit more. It's an easy gemara, yeah. But like me shomer peiros and not shomer peiros, yeah. So you're not allowed to buy from fruit watcher. Rav Zavin shavishta me'arisa. Rav bought grapevines from an oris, from a sharecropper. Amalei Abaya says, how can you buy from him? But nan, but like me shomer peiros, eitzim peiros. You're not allowed to buy from shomer peiros wood and fruits. Malay said back in Hanimi the Shomer the less like a Gufa Dara meeting. That's all about a Shomer where he doesn't own any of the land. Aval Oris, the Isle de Gabe, but an Oris, a sharecropper who has a piece of the action, right? But then maybe he's selling his own chayla. He's giving you his own chayla, right? So that's where going back to our cases, if you have to find out if the manager says, oh yeah, you could take it. You have to find out, is the manager does he own part of the business or not? Right? If he owns part of the business, it's going to be more make. Fine. Turn it up. Shame repairs like you, man. So you're allowed to buy from Shame repairs Kishain Yoshvin or Moifrim when they're sitting and selling, Basalan Lefname, and their baskets are in front of them, Returtini Lefname, and they have their scales in front of them. The Kulan Shamru Hatmain, but in all these cases, if he says, shh, keep it on the down low, hide it, it's also because maybe he's selling his boss's stuff. Like we had Mafteach Hagina. And only in front of the garden where the fruits grow, but not in the back. Because if he's doing it in the back, we're afraid that if the stuff is falling off the truck. Itmar, so we learned Gazlan me'emas mutter liknos in a Gazlan. When can you buy from a Gazlan? Rav Amar Adshetei Roiv Mishaloi. When the most of the belongings are his, and then you're allowed to buy from him because it's only a small percentage that's his. Of that's stolen, which I don't know exactly how you're supposed to know what's stolen and what's not. The Shmuel Amar Afilu Miyat Shaloi, even if only a little bit of it is his, you're still allowed to buy it from him. Right? So, and you're telling Rashi says, because you say L'chara, the one that you're buying from is not stolen. So I read Rabbi Yehuda La'ada Daila. Rabbi Yehuda taught Ada Daila, that was his name. Right, he was Daila means he was a shamash. Right, even if there's a miyut of his, you're allowed to buy from the ganav. Maman Moisa, so the money of a Moisa. Rav Huna Rav Yehuda, Chad Omar Mutal Avdoi Biyad, you're allowed to take the money of a Moisa and let's say throw it out, burn it, destroy it. And one says you're not allowed to destroy his money. Because we don't want his money to be more chomer than his guf. And we know in the Gemara of the Zohar, Rashi brings, we know that a meiser you're allowed to kill. Ayin Akiva's story in the beginning of the daf. Right? So since you're allowed to kill him, so his money is not going to be worth more than his body. So if you kill him, you can also kill his money. And the one that says it's usher to make him lose his money, just because he's a bad guy, doesn't mean he won't have good kids. Russia prepares, and then he's gonna be wearing tzaddikim. So meaning just because the guy's bad doesn't mean his kids won't be good, and his kids are gonna yarshin him, and therefore if his kids yarshin him, so they'll have money, they'll be good guys, and they'll have money. An interesting machlokes. Okay, we'll stop over there. The Tillim. Okay, Pei Gimel. Shir Mizmor Lo Sof. Elohim Adon Milach.